Hello, this is me and Sparky here, and wow, he's excited to tell you and talk to you guys about the tools that I have. He's right in center of line. Oh wait, hold up. Maybe he's not so excited. Oh, I see. Now that makes sense. That makes more sense. Go over there. Well, today, guys, I'm gonna go in more depth of what tools I have with me in my truck. And you guys be like, oh, another tool video. If you don't like it, go ahead and skip this video and go watch something you guys are interested in. What I'm doing this for is for the people that I have responded to that want to see this, and they want to see what I carry and why I carry and how it helps, and what brands and what I feel that are good brands and bad brands and all that sort of stuff. So I'm gonna go with my tool bag first, and I'm gonna tell you guys why I carry the things I carry, what I use it for, and what they are, and approximately maybe how much they cost too. So we're gonna go straight with the Linemen. So the Linemen pliers. These Linemen pliers are the Journeyman edition. I bought these pliers about 5 years ago. As you can see, at my previous company, my foreman engraved my name on them. These are one hell of a tool. This is gonna last you. This has been with me for 5 years already, since trade school, and which is actually LA Trade Tech. I went to Trade Tech here in Los Angeles. So this has been with me for such a while, such a long time, that honestly I've created a little bond with it that I don't want to get rid of. Yeah, I could buy some Nipix ones, which are for some people better quality, or yeah, I could buy, another set, but honestly I'm too familiar with it. My muscle memory with this one is just too good that I don't want to let it go. And plus, once you start working in the field and these tools, you use them every day, you start getting some type of bond with them. I know it's crazy to say or even crazy to hear, but you do. Wire strippers, that is one of the tools that you will be changing out very frequently, maybe not every month or 2 months, but depending on how much abuse you put into them, but you do change these out frequently. Now I like to get these, the blue ones with the yellow on them. There's different kinds. There's ones with blue and white, which go all the way. You see the gauge of wire, the blue and white one goes to 8 gauge, and this one goes all the way to 10. And yes, I do a lot of cutting or stripping with number 8 gauge, but the reason I don't get those is because my muscle memory isn't as familiar as it is with that one as it is with this one. See, I've been using this for such a long time that I could strip wire without even having to look at the wire gauge, because like I said, it's muscle memory. And I keep mentioning muscle memory, and that's such a big thing, because once you get in a trade and you start doing these repetitive movements, you're gonna start noticing that, okay, I know how to strip wire without looking at it, or hey, I even know how to strip wire with Linemen's without damaging it. Now, I'm not saying go out there and do that, but over time, you do it once or twice, and then you do it again and again and again. You just grow this muscle memory in your head, and you start being more productive. You start doing things quicker, you start doing things better, you start doing things differently. It's just all about muscle memory. It's like I could go ahead and be doing something and go to my right hand and do and get something on my bag without looking, and I know what I'm gonna get, and I'll get it is because I know the spots and I know where they're at, and I keep things the same way. I don't change it up on myself, so I have this muscle memory built into my head already, and that's why I have things the way they are. I change things around a little bit, but not too much to throw myself off when I'm doing something. Let's just get this bacon bit out the way. Okay, so let's put my strippers back. What else I like about these strippers? That you could cut 632s or 832s. Is it helpful? Yeah. Do I do it all the time? If I'm gonna be doing that, I don't use those. I use these just because they're more heavier duty. They're not too much strain on your hand. You're gonna be squeezing really hard with this one. Like, I'm talking about squeezing. So I don't want to be doing that, hurting myself. You gotta think about it. I know that 1 or 2 might not hurt, but if you're doing 1 and 2, 3 times a week for the next 5 years, Best believe you're gonna feel it once you start doing just one or two. All right, my needle nose. These are the Journeyman series needle nose. Now there's two different kind. Well, there's a lot of different kind, but there's another Journeyman series that come with a nice little notch in between, and that one's for stripping number 12 gauge wire. Now that one comes very in handy when you're pulling wire through a fish tape, because you're able to create a lead with the wire. And a lot of experienced people would know what I'm talking about. But for the ones who are not familiar with the activities we do in electrical field, what I mean by that is that sometimes we like to run fish tape, which is that, and we like to run fish tape, and we use tape, and we grab other wires together and bundle them up, but with the lead of one wire, and we strip them so we can get copper and take away the insulation, just to reduce the space, you know, because sometimes you're running through flex and conduit and stuff like that. You're just trying to minimize the insulation and everything, and the copper will make it skinnier. It just makes sense, and you guys will understand later on. So the reason I like these, and not the little ones, not the cheap ones, even though the cheap ones might be fine, but for what I do, you know, is I use these to cut in and knock in the knockouts out of a 4S box, 5S box, or whatever I need to do. And honestly, it comes so unhelpful, because these are heavy duty, and you need heavy duty. See, don't be too cheap on your tools. I'm not saying don't get cheap tools. Go ahead. If you need to get cheap tools, go ahead, do it. There's nothing wrong with cheap tools. There's nothing wrong with Husky. Matter of fact, I have Husky. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't cheap out on tools you're gonna need 98% of the day, you know. And then that, for saying that, I'm gonna go on to my next tool. Oh, matter of fact, you know what? I want to say something about this. This grip is really good. It has never slipped out. I've always had the issue of this sleeve coming out, but never with this. My nose, and never with my Linemen. My non-contact voltage detector. Wait, hold up, this guy is going wild. He just really wants that bacon. Let me just get rid of this real quick. Non-contact voltage detector, and that's what it's really called. It's a non-contact voltage detector. Trade names: ticker, wiggy, beeper, thingamajiggy. I even heard people call it little meter. I don't know. There's so many names. But this is the best one. I recommend you to get this. If you're going to get a non-contact voltage detector, you should get a Fluke. Do not get the Klein. Do not get the Klein. Get a Southwire. Those are good. Fluke, number one. Reason being is because Fluke is a company that specializes in meters. Honestly, they specialize in meters. So if you see a company specialized in meters and they're out here creating a non-contact voltage detector, they're gonna be freaking excellent. And you have a company like Klein out here, you know, they're trying to do a little bit of everything. They do hand tools, you know, which their hand tools are good, but if they start doing meters, which they do, they're not as good. I'm not saying they're horrible, but they're just not as good as a company who specializes in meter. It's like you have an electrician, you know, and you have a handyman. The handyman does a little bit of everything, but the electrician is specialized in electrical work. Obviously, the electrician is going to be better, you know. So the features I like about this is that you can turn it on. It detects 120. It detects actually 90 to 1000 volts, and I like that it's always blinking red to let me know that's on. It's sensitive, but not extremely sensitive, and that's a good thing, because sometimes you don't want something to be too sensitive, because it's picking off, you're in a junction box and it's picking off the magnetic field from a different wire, and you're like, okay, which one is it then, because it's beeping no matter what. What this one does, it's sensitive but not too sensitive, and that's why I like. Next thing is my cable cutters. Now these are beat up. These were really great. These were like 20 bucks. The Fluke non-contact voltage detector was about 30 bucks. Worth it. Don't be cheap on something that can save your life. So these were like 20 bucks. I got them at Home Depot, and these are good for cutting wire. Honestly, these are great. They are not good for cutting MC, but they will get the job done. And And there's a proof. All these little fucked up the fucked up blade is because I cut MC with it over the year. And they're not great for cutting MC, but they are great for cutting wire. And I'm talking about, like, if you have like at least 5 number 12s, they're good. If you have even 5 number 10s, they're good. If you have 4 number 8s, they're good. They get, trust me, these are really good. They're for 20 bucks, very good. All right, here's my diagonal side cutters. These are the best side diagonal cutters I have had. And I have had the Nipex, and I have had the Journeyman series. The Journeyman series is completely garbage. They're too bulky. And that's a tool. This is a tool that you don't want bulky. This is like a precision tool, because you want to get into staples and either grab them and pull them out, or you want to cut zip ties, or you just want to cut things flush, you know. So this one, I recommend to get this, the blue handle type. Don't get the bulky Journeyman series. I think the only one that should be bulky is a Linemen's, and if it just fits perfectly with it. But the diagonal cutters should not be bulky. I think this is way better than anything. So I have a pencil. That's a pencil right there. I need this pencil. Markers. Why don't I use Sharpies? Because Sharpies are very expensive for the same thing that a Milwaukee Sharpie does. It's just like, come on, I'm not gonna buy a fucking Sharpie brand Sharpie, you know. These are coming in handy. These are coming in clutch, I'm not gonna lie. So I have 2 different kind of channel locks, tongue and groove pliers, whatever you want to call them. The proper name is tongue and groove, but I call them channel locks because this is a channel lock and this is a climb. I have this one for about a year. No, that's a lie. I haven't had this one about 3 years, and I have had this one for like a week. Very good tool. I really like it. They fit in the hand really great. They do grab on really good, and I always recommend you to have 2, because especially if you're running conduit. This one, these grab so well, honestly. This one is good for nuts, because you see how this one has like a different kind of pattern to it than this one. I feel like this one is very good for nuts when you're doing off thread to nuts and struts to nuts, you know, mounting things. Very freaking good. But this one is also good for when you're doing couplings and connectors on rain tight EMT. Really good. And the reason you should have 2 is because you always need 2 when you're doing a coupling that's rain tight, or a connector that's rain tight, just to make it tighter. I'm just gonna leave these here. All right, this level right here, oh wow, this is a nice beautiful level. This is a perfect level, and in my opinion it's perfect is because it's not too long and it's not too short. The magnet on this level is incredible. It's so strong, honestly, it's incredible. It's a beautiful level. It's nice and clear. It tells you when things are 90, 45, and 30. Now you might be asking, how do you know when something's 45 and 30? And it just depends on how you position this. When you do, you know, sorry for my flip-flops, they're a little dirty. So what you do is that when you're bending a conduit and you bend it up, right? The conduit is gonna look like right? Kind of like a 45, let's say. You get your magnetic torpedo level, and what you do is that you mount it on the side like that with this facing up. So now you're facing it like that, and then you see that bubble in the middle. You see that bubble moving. Well, once it's center, let's check out what it sees. Okay, that's a 45. So that's how you know when your conduit's a 45, when it's like right there. You get me? When you're looking for a 30, it's also the same thing. You put on your pipe, and wherever is the center, that's a 30. That's how you figure that out. And obviously a 90 will be a straight 90 like that. So a lot of apprentices and helpers be like, how do you know when a conduit is 45? How do you measure for a 45? It's just once you bend a conduit up, you have your bender towards you, you have the conduit up, you put it on the face of the conduit, not on the side, not on the left side, facing you like that. Okay. Okay, now this is a Klein flathead screwdriver. These are great. I like them. They're okay. They're not the best. They're good. They get the job done. I like it skinny because when you're doing remodel boxes and you pop in the MC, they do a good job. Not gonna go into much the depth with the screwdrivers. This is a Pives installation. I believe it's a Ouija. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's a Ouija. I really like these because one, they're insulated. Two, these grab onto a receptacle screw so perfect. Reason being, let's focus into that. It's a flathead with a Phillips, and if you notice right on a receptacle, it looks like it's a Phillips, but the flathead is longer. So these grab great. I use this when I'm changing out outlets live. Square number 2, also from Ouija. Whew, this has lasted me like 2 years, and Jesus Christ, I have put in some rug and tear into this, and it's been nothing but heavy duty. As you can see, I focus on right there. Yeah, there it is. Very nice, very nice. These are great for couplings and connectors on EMT. Here's a 4-inch. This is a nice little beater from Klein. And here's a Phillips. I don't really like using Phillips screwdrivers because I have my impact, and honestly I'm just not a fan of carrying a Phillips, but currently where the job I'm at, they require you to have one. So here's my Milwaukee foldable screwdriver. Here's my foldable Milwaukee tape ruler, whatever they want to call it. I'm not even sure what it's called, but let's try using one hand to both of these. So check it out. It goes 1 to 71 inches. And then people be like, but why do you want this? Why do you want to use this if you have a tape measure? And I'm like, you're right. I do have a tape measure. A tape measure will measure, you know, anything, and it does its job in a smaller whatever it's called. But the thing about it is that this does things that this cannot do, and this is way more accurate, and I am not shitting you. This is way more accurate, and this comes in handy when you're doing surface mounted EMT, or when you're hanging boxes, or when you're doing things that are going to be very presentable to people, and it's going to be very noticeable. Yeah, this perfect. It works 10 out of 10. But honestly, this is just taking it up one notch, and it depends on how you do your work and how you want to present yourself. And personally, me, I always try to give my best, you know. And as long as you always give your best, then you're good. And this helps me give my best because sometimes I want to create a bend that might be too close. Let's say I want to go to a 3-point saddle, but then I want to do a gooseneck, you know, and I want to do some crazy measurements, and I want to be very precise. Well, I use this. You know, this is what I use, honestly. And it comes with so many features, honestly. It's just like, okay, but why would you need this, you know? Trust me, when you're doing an offset, or you're trying to figure out an offset, you can use this way better than this. But then there's gonna be a counterclaim saying, but you could just do this. Yeah, you could just do that, you know. But sometimes you're doing a kick, and then you want to bring that kick up, which has a 90, right? And you want to make sure that the bottom of the kick, of the EMT kick, is 3 inches, you know, or not 3 inches, but 6 inches, or something like that. So you use this, you know. It will make sense once you're in the field, and it should make sense if you're already in the field. Here's my Fluke multimeter. I have two. I have the 3231, which is a clamp on, and I have the 117, which is the actual true RMS multimeter. And the reason I have this one with me all the time is because it's more handy, it's slimmer, and it detects current. It reads current once you grab onto a wire. And the thing about that is that you can only grab one wire at a time to be able to detect the amperage going through. You can't get 2 wires because they will cancel out on each other. And I know it sounds crazy, like, what do you mean cancel out each other? Once you start taking electrical theory, you're gonna learn, and you're gonna realize that magnetic field has a lot to do with it. And this is just reading the magnetic field around a wire. So yeah, I don't want to go too in depth with that, but that's pretty much what it does. I got my Husky metric and say I forget what these are called. Hex keys. And I got my Torx as well, just for light fixtures, for fixing the arbor, hole saws, stuff like that. Also, I forgot about this one. This is my Milwaukee headlamp light. Oh man, this is a beauty. This is rechargeable. I bought it for $50 on OfferUp. Do not go to Home Depot. That shit's too expensive. Find an OfferUp, wait for OfferUp, because I am not gonna spend $78 for this, you know? $50, okay, but not $78. Got me fucked up. Tool bag. I got my Vito Pro tool bag. I do not recommend it. I hate it. I honestly dislike it. It cost me $80 just for this piece of shit. And the reason I'm calling it a piece of shit is because literally the first month this happened, this right here fucking hurts. You have your tool bag against your thigh, your leg, whatever you want to call it, all the fucking time. That's just rubbing and it just freaking hurts. Sad to say, I got used to it, so I don't feel it no more. I like this feature, the little bag. That's where I carry my impact reamer, my Milwaukee, what is it called again? A Milwaukee stubby, and I have my stud finder. This is the only stud finder you should buy, and I mean it. Do not buy the electronic stud finder to look badass. No. A stud finder finds studs by magnets. That's what a fucking stud finder does. It just finds the drywall screws, and 99% of the time they screw the drywall to a stud, and that's how you know a stud is. That's what it does. It does not do any type of magic. It's just fucking, yeah. Okay, these knee pads were given to me by my uncle. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if these are a good brand. I don't know how much they cost, but these have been the best knee pads I have ever owned. I used to have a Fear Cry knee pads that were hard and soft gel. The thing about those is that the gel ended up popping out, and it was just nasty, and it was really hard. So when I would do finish work on laminated flooring, one time it scratched the floor, and this is soft, so this doesn't scratch the floor. Keep in consideration, you're working at people's houses. You don't want to mess up their finished work. They just paid thousands of dollars. Hey guys, what's up? Okay, second part of this 2 series in-depth of tools. Let me put that aside. I'm recording off my new iPhone 11. So tell me how's the quality on this. If you guys like it, nice. What I'm planning to do is buy a little stand, so that way you guys can see me bend some conduit and show you guys some cool tricks that I have learned over the years. You know, as long as you learn these tricks, you'll get more precise and better at bending conduit. It's just all about how you do it. Sometimes you don't even need to do the calculations, because there's certain things you could do that will always hit on the spot. But that will be for my future videos when I go over that. I did want to point out that I didn't get to go over my nut drivers. I didn't get a chance to go over my nut drivers because I don't have them with me anymore. But basically, I would make sure that I'll carry a 1/4 to 932s nut drivers, and I'm including 3/8, 3/16, 5/16. Because you're dealing with panels and you're dealing with gears and you're dealing in a commercial environment that carries different kind of nuts. So yeah, make sure you get those, and they're inexpensive. If you really want some good quality ones, I would go with Weha or Wareham. But if you're in a budget, go to Harbor Freight. They have the whole pack for like $20, plus there's always a discount there. So bam, here we go. All right, here we go. This is my light. What I love about this Klein light is that it glows in the dark. So when you're in the darkness, you need to find a flashlight, right? But it's dark. What the fuck, you know? At least this one shines for you. It has a magnetic and it has a hook. It stands up if you're working on something, and it goes 90 if you're working on something. So you might be working on something and you need some light. Bam, this is perfect. You might need to hook it onto somewhere, you know. I need some light. Bam, perfect. It charges my phone. Look. Oops, sorry. It charges my phone. It has a USB and it has a, I am not sure what type of USB connection that is, but it has a regular USB. Oh, my bad. That one is where the charger goes. That's where you charge it, and that's where you charge your phone. I use it to charge my iPhone, and it charges very well. How long does it last? I can have it on for like 8 hours, and it will still be good for like another 4. Yeah. All right, here we go. These are my handy Linemen and strippers with crimpers. I got these at Home Depot. I actually got them for $20 because I told the lady that they look damaged and she bought it, so she gave me a discount. Original price is about 40 bucks. Are they great? No, they're not the best. They're decent. They're good at cutting wires, 632s and 832s, just because they have more leverage than your standard wire strippers, so it's better. They do crimp, which I like, and they strip 14, 12, and I believe 10. So these are great if you're gonna go to an attic and you don't want to take a lineman and a stripper, and if you know you might be doing some crimping, then by all means take this with you. Why take 3 tools when you can use just 1 tool to do it all, right? So yeah, pretty nice. Okay, these are my crimpers. This was given to me by a buddy in my work where I used to work at TEC. This is really cool, actually. So it does non-insulated and it does insulated. What that means is that once you see a crimper that doesn't have an insulation on it, like either a rubbery part or any kind of protection towards the metal, well, if it doesn't have that, then you use it here, and if it has that, then you use it there. I like this. It's actually really cool. All right, so these are my sheet metal cutters, tin snips. These are my tin snips. This is the second version that Milwaukee came out with. The first version it came out with was a shitty one because you kept moving it like this and it will just open up. Now it has a latch to actually make sure it closes. Do they work? Yeah, they work. They get the job done. Is this the best brand? Probably not. I've heard that Wiss is the best tin snips, but I went with this one because it was on sale. All right, here is my files. I got 1 file and I have 2 files. Is that all I have? Yes, it is. Okay, so what I use this file for? If I am doing conduit, inch and a quarter and up, I use these. Especially for 2-inch, 3-inch, and even 4-inch, I use these. You file the inside all the way around, and what I do is that I file the base of it and the outer of it. Are you supposed to? I'm not even sure if you're supposed to, but I do. I know for sure you're supposed to file the inside or just ream it, just so the metal pieces doesn't come in contact with the wire and accidentally strip it. Okay, so here's 2 drywall knives, and I carry 2 for a reason. This one says drywall, this one says plaster, and I do keep it like that. If I'm doing drywall, I'm gonna use a drywall one, and I'm gonna do plaster, I'm gonna use a plaster one. I'm not gonna use one for all, because if you start using this one for drywall, it's not gonna cut as good as a clean, new, freshly bladed one. And plaster, you don't really need to have it too sharp, because honestly it cuts easily as long as you're just going back and forth with the friction. So that stays there. Oops, sorry, I gotta keep in mind that I need to move the phone with me so you guys can see what I'm doing, because I got the camera sometimes facing things that you guys are gonna be like, well, I can't see shit, and I'll be like, oh shit, my bad. Let's just move this out the way. Let's go ahead and open this. All right. Okay. I'm just gonna start taking things out. That'll be better. Okay, some screwdrivers. Bam. Okay, quick little depth. So here I have a nice little bit set. It comes with the strippers. I do not use the strippers. Do not use the strippers. This is honestly just for gimmick. I don't know why they have it like that. It's crap. But this is a perfect nice little bit set in case you need to open or close, or you need a special kind of bit anytime. Bam, that's it. You have it in one handy place, and that's it. Honestly, it does so much. It does so much. I have this Milwaukee Shockwave Impact titanium bits. Ooh, these are great. Honestly, they're freaking good as long as you take care of them. They're really, really good as long as you take care of them, and as long as you don't use it on an impact. And I cannot stress this enough, even though they say they are impact duty, do not buy that. Do not believe that. I honestly think they do that. They say that, or they put that there so it could be worn up even more, and you just end up buying more. As long as you keep this on a drill and use a drill on it, these will last you forever. And just put a little bit of cutting oil. Good, man. I was using and abusing these at the last job site. I was cutting and making holes through a steel beam. These work perfectly. The little ones tend to snap more, but once you start going to 1/8, they start getting strong. I got my flathead. I have a special flathead that holds onto screws when they're not magnetic. This one I have had for 5 years. It's just, honestly, I have a sentimental value for it. And I have a Phillips. I'm not gonna go into depth with them. They're just screwdrivers. They're okay. They're decent. They get the job done. I do carry a charger with me because you need to charge batteries. And I don't have a fast charger. That one's a little more expensive. It's all right. I just use the basic one that comes with the tools. Okay, here I have an auger bit that I use with my drill. I recommend you to get a 7/8, and an inch, and just get 1.5 inches. Or if you want to be very precise, just get 1 1/8. Just so you could do a 1/2 inch, and you could do 3/4 holes for wood, for flags. But it's always better to go a little bit bigger. But I have this one just for Romex or for MC. You know, it's big enough. It's not too big. It's not too small. It fits perfectly. And it's very sharp, honestly. It's very sharp. This one right here I have, and this is super special. It's a Fluke insulated, made in Germany needle nose. How did I get these? Guess. I'll give you 5 seconds. Nope. I won this in a giveaway. I won this on a Sparky Channel production giveaway about 2 years ago. Can you believe that? I was like, cool. I never won anything in my life. I was like, oh shit, all right, fuck it. So I won this from a giveaway that he was doing. Have I used it? Yes, I use this to do the loops on what's it called? When I'm landing wire in on a bus bar, or when I'm not on a bus bar, on a ground bar or a neutral bar. Or sometimes I use this on receptacles, but I try not to use it because it's pretty cool. I just won this, and that's it. It's not really something I use all the time. Here's another flashlight. These are with batteries. I recommend it. Not so much. You know what? This, if you want to get it. You know, but if you're gonna go between this one and the Klein, bam, go Klein. This one does a lot of more things for about the same price, and it's batteries. Even if you say like, okay, it's 20 bucks, all I gotta do is buy batteries, and then you have to, and there's a 31 with a rechargeable battery. Get the rechargeable one. You're gonna spend the same amount on the batteries or even more because it dies so quick. A couple more levels. I found this one on a job site. Probably belonged to a freaking plumber because it's an Empire. This is my ideal level. Oh no, this is not my ideal level, my bad. This is my Empire level that was given to me by another contractor that I used to work for back in the day, that I still have to this day, and I still work with him to this day. It's actually a Christmas gift. He's family member, so that's pretty cool. Okay, I have this nice little 3/8 ratchet. Yeah, comes in handy. I use it all the time. Not all the time. It just depends what I'm doing. If I'm doing more like a transformer, then yeah, I'll use this. Here's a pen. I'm trying to remember what's called. It's a flashlight pen. Honestly, it's not that good. It dies quick. It's crappy. Let's go around. All right, so we got some cool stuff over here. All right, this is a circuit breaker tracer. Does it work? Hell yeah, it works. This is freaking dope. This is by Klein. It costs about 40 bucks. Jesus Christ. Honestly, the reason I went to go buy this is because I was trying to find a circuit at a job I was doing, and it was just me by myself. I went to go get some material. I saw this on a shelf for 40 bucks. I said, okay, let's give it a try. I'm gonna return it once I'm done because you know how freaking bummy I am. So I ended up buying it, and I ended up finding a circuit, and I was like, damn, this just cut my work hours in a quarter, and I got to charge a full day's worth. I'm gonna keep it. It literally paid for itself, honestly. This is another one I like to use. It's a digital outlet tester. Now you're gonna be like, well, why didn't you get just the crappy one, the $10 one that does the job and that's it? The reason I have this one too is because once I hit test on the GFCI, it's gonna tell you how fast it tripped, and that's important when you're turning on and off GFCIs, because a GFCI is supposed to trip at the difference potential between the neutral and hot of 0.5 milliamps or something like that. And if it's more than that, it's bad. So if you're going to a house and you go through the GFCIs and you're testing out for a customer and it's more than that, you could easily tell the customer, hey, look, your GFCI is tripping at 1 amp when it's supposed to be 0.5 milliamps. It's time to change it, and boom, there comes more money your way, more money in your pocket, and who doesn't like money? These are some of that have 9/16, 5/8, just the trade size. Go to Harbor Freight when you're buying stuff like this, because honestly, you don't need a name brand. These just do a perfect job. So yeah, this, okay, here we go. So this tells me the distance of something. Is very accurate. You see that red dot? Well, it tells me the distance is 7 foot 8 inches with, well, it keeps changing, right? But you get the point. You press it one more time, it saves it, you hold on to it, it turns off. Comes in really handy when you're doing light fixtures and you're hanging, and like, let's say at a warehouse and you're on a lift and you don't want to be dropping, your tape measure down from a lift just to see the bottom of the light fixture. You can simply use that. Or you sometimes want to measure how much conduit you're gonna need, and you just press it from one side and it says boom 32, then bam, go get 4 sticks, get an extra stick, just be safe. I got tape, I got pencils, I got long bits, I have concrete bits on impacts. I wanted to share with you guys some of this right here. These are gloves. These are heavy duty gloves. These are not for working on live wire. Do not work live with these gloves. These will not protect you. These are just to protect your hands from any type of pinch points. You can wear this with that, it still will not protect you. Remember, if you want to be insulated when you're touching wire, you have to use rubber. Not any type of rubber. You have to just use some heavy duty rubber that you can probably find on Amazon. And yeah, don't use those gloves to work live. Listen, it might come in handy, I guess, and realistically speaking, if you're working on a panel upgrade and you're just doing shit, like quick, and you don't have time to go get rubber gloves, I guess you're better off being a little bit more safe than sorry. But fuck it, man, spend $120 on some freaking specialized gloves so you can work live, because your life is worth more than just $120. Your life is worth millions, so don't even work live if you're not supposed to, or if you're not comfortable. If you're comfortable working live, then go ahead. I wouldn't even say go ahead and work live. Nah, just try not to work live, man. Honestly, people be like, oh, it's just 120. It's not gonna kill me. It's not the voltage. Remember, it's the potential, the voltage of it's the current. You know, remember 0.1 milliamp. It fucks up your heart. So depending on your age, your condition, your health, everybody has different resistance in their body. So for me, I might be healthier, might be my skin might be thicker, so I have a little higher resistance, you know. And remember, voltage likes to take the path of least resistance, some shit like that. So it's a lot of electrical to keep in mind, and to be like, oh, it's not gonna shock me, you know. No, it's gonna shock you. It's gonna shock you no matter fucking what, unless you're really grounded and you're dry and you don't have no cuts. It's crazy. We actually taking a class of how to figure out if you actually will be completely insulated. And I seen people on TikTok like touch a bus bar or a lugna of a panel and not get shocked. And he's like, because I'm not grounded. And you must have some really good boots, and they must be really new, because honestly, even having the leather open on a boot is enough to change the resistance and shock you. It's fucking crazy how electricity works, honestly. So don't work live. If you do, fuck, only if you have to. Just be super safe. If you're doing a panel upgrade, put some wood down, stand on the wood, make sure you know what's around your surroundings, wear gloves, wear rubber gloves, and just be super safe. All right, let's go back into this. All right, some things that I have right here is this husky little tool that plumbers use to cut copper. But what I do is that I use this to cut conduit. I use it because sometimes you have wires inside EMT that you do not want to damage, and you need to cut it because you need to refeed it or reroute it. So what you do is that you use this little tool and you go around the EMT, you cut the EMT, it leaves it nice and clean. You take it out completely, make sure the wires are dead, and you either do a 90 or you move it to a different box or something else. I have some more. I have a Nimpex diagonal cutters right here, and honestly, they're okay. Like I said, I prefer the Kleins. They're way better. I have drill bits here. They're nothing special. They're just for wood. Spade bits. They're called spade bits. That's the proper name. I have markers, blades. Check this out. Check this out. This comes from this is a 50-year-old switch. 50 years old. That I went to go rewire a house, and I took this out and I put a Decora switch because we're doing a rewire, and I kept the switch because I was like, wow, this is incredible. This is all ceramic, on and off. This is where the wires were landed, and you see that basically it's an open and close right there. It's just open and be like close and open, close and open. That's crazy how they used to do things back then. Oh, here's the Decora outlet. So you see the sides, you see how it has a flathead and it has a Phillips. That's what I was talking about with this insulated screwdriver. It fits perfectly. You see how it fits perfectly? It's beautiful. Rather than just having a Phillips and you don't have as much, you see? And when you're working live, I'd rather have full control than it might be slipping and it might slip. Might be slipping in my slip. Slippity slip. Well, that's all I have for you guys, actually. I have power tools inside the house that I don't want to go over because everybody has a different opinion on power tools, and I feel like just talking about Milwaukee, people are gonna be like, fuck Milwaukee, Drywall all the way, fucking Ryobi all the way, Makita all the way. Oh, one thing I forgot to go over, my square. This is a dope ass little square, It ain't about the size, it's about how you use it. Nah, I'm just kidding. Nah, but this is a dope ass little square. Do I use it? I do. When I'm making knockouts for 6x6, 12x12, or just on top of the panel, I like to use this to have it evenly spaced out. Or I can use my foldable ruler. Oh, you know what? I didn't even mention about this tote bag. Okay, so let me go over the tote bag real quick. This is a dope ass tote bag. This is a Husky electrician's tote bag. That's what it's called. It's at Home Depot. I want to say I bought it for $35. I might be wrong, but once I saw it on a shelf, I was like, damn, I need to have that. Why? Because they sell a Klein one for like $89, but this is just as good, or even better, to be honest. I seen the Klein one and it probably doesn't carry as much. What I like about this is that this comes out, you know, that's freaking sick. It has a handle, it has a strap, everything's out in the open. I pull up with my cart, and I just take this down, and I'm at work on on some HVAC. Like, I'm putting a little disconnect up for a what's it called, for air conditioner, you know, and I have everything I need right here. Or I might be working on some outlets and I have everything I need right here. Yeah, I have this too, and this is what I'm going to use all the time. But if I need more specialty things, I have it right here. I don't need to have a bag. You know how people have like a Milwaukee bag or a Husky bag, and they throw everything aside and they just go and they drop it and they go through it and they're just like looking for things? That's messy. I don't like that. That's not me. I like to be organized. I like to know where things are at. I like to be able to see what I have and just grab what I need and put it back. That's how I am. But whatever works for you works for you. Have a wonderful day. Remember to be safe out there in the field. And if you're not part of the electrical trade, I highly recommend it. Check it out. It's a trade that will take you anywhere and everywhere. Something about in class for boot camp in the union, what they told us is that just because you're an electrician, it doesn't mean you have to be digging holes, making outlets, landing panels all your life. You could literally be fucking whatever you want in electrical field. You could even take the low voltage route and do fiber optics. You know, you could literally do splicing, and I don't know if you know what splicing is, but you go into these vaults underground and you splice some feeders that are huge. Check it out on YouTube. Put splicing feeders in vaults. Check it out. That's freaking dope. You can even become a lineman working on those poles, you know. You could do anything you want. It's just not just making up outlets and bending conduit. There's so much things to this. You can even do just fire alarm and programming and PLCs and motor controls, stop-start stations, you know. The possibilities is endless. So give it a chance and check it out, man. You know. All right, have a nice day.